Grandma Lois here this morning. This is Mother's Day, May the 11th, Sunday morning. Sunday morning coming down. So this is right before church. So I thought I'd chit-chat with y'all a little while, like some of these other grandmas and seniors. I am now a senior. I had such a great time yesterday, yard sailing, but I want y'all to invite you to come on and just sit down a little while this Sunday morning before you go to church or after you go to church, whenever, and get you a cup of coffee or your hot chocolate. I got mine with 7 creams, my coffee. Somebody said, you like coffee with your cream? Yes, I do. This is such a lovely scene here. Now, after we get done here, we can go inside and sit around the table, but I believe I'll just sit right here right now with this beautiful scenery, this river. I can have different scenery every day. Isn't that a miracle of God? It's amazing to me because this way I don't have to hunt for pictures. All I do, my ear's itching. I got my hearing aids turned off, and I just hunt me another picture on YouTube, pull it up and say, that's where I want to spend the morning with my kids, grandkids, friends, and relatives, and children. So here we go. This is Mother's Day, and of course that falls on a Sunday. So 71 years ago, I gave birth to twins on a Sunday morning at 7 o'clock. Those twins were born, and they were born 2.5 months early, but God blessed me with children when the doctor said I would never have any. But see, God is able. People, He'll surprise you. He gave me twins the first time, and then we got Kimberly 4 years later. And we adopted a son named Keith. And then he had a son who he named Keith. And now he's got so many grandbabies. He's got 6 grandbabies, I think, from Keith. And then he had a little girl, and she's got 2 sons. My family expanded. They just, and I'm definitely pleased with all of them. So let's have a little coffee. Take a deep breath and just enjoy this ambiance. Y'all know what ambiance means, don't you? Well, if you don't, look it up. It's the atmosphere. So we enjoy the atmosphere. I've been with y'all today, and I was thinking about, this is Mother's Day. And I was watching Senior Insights this morning, which is somebody I just discovered through Kentucky Life with Debbie. And she had discovered her, both of them have YouTube channels, and they're interesting. So anyway, she was talking about, everybody's not a mother. I mean, we're women, but don't all of us get to have children? And we are blessed, those that have good children. Sometimes we have rebellious children. And I had one daughter that went through rebellion and said, Mom, I hope she don't watch this, but it's the truth. When she was 19 years old, she loved smoking marijuana and cigarettes. And I was having a rough time with it. And she had a job and she could buy the marijuana, and she was still living at home. And she said, Mom, if you will just let me do everything I want, we won't have a problem. I said, honey, this is my house. You can't smoke marijuana here. No. And that was many years ago when marijuana was coming out so popular. But anyway, you know what? She got over it. She grew up. She got married. She had 2 kids. And now she's married for the 2nd time. And she's a grandma. So I just trusted the Lord that someday things would work out. But everybody don't get to be a mother. But she moved in with some guy, and that's what he was. But he's the father of her 2 children, and he's dead and gone. He died an early death, and he was not a nice man. He smoked marijuana all the time, and they did. But when she got pregnant, they got married after they were together a year. And then we got a granddaughter. And later on, and when that granddaughter was born, She is one of my favorite grandchildren. And now she's 40 and she came to see me yesterday. She drives an 18-wheeler. And that's her job. She takes those big trucks over the road. She can put them anywhere. It's amazing what Melissa can do. She came and visited me and her grandpa, and she's getting tired of doing truck driving. So she said, Grandma, I'm going to start me a house cleaning service. She said, and I've already got 2 jobs lined up next week. I said, well, don't quit your, the truck driving job is kind of not real busy all the time. So she's scheduling her house cleaning when she's not truck driving till she can build her enough clientele. I said, that's a smart thing to do. But her boyfriend gave her enough money to go to Home Depot and buy all the cleaning things she might need. And she told him, she said, I got quite a few where's my Kleenex? I don't know. But when your nose gets running, and I can feel it, you need some Kleenex. Here it is. Keep it handy, girls. You never know when. Don't you like purple? I'm in a purple mood today. Yesterday I was in a purple mood. And this morning James said, honey, you look good in purple. See, and he looked good too before he was going to church. He's at church. And they have singing for about half an hour. So that's why I'm talking to y'all while they're singing. And I'll tune in the sermon. I like the sermons better than some of the music because they sing music that I like the old hymns. I'm old-timey, and they don't sing to them. They sing verses over and over and over, and I find it monotonous. Forgive me. And they don't close caption. I do think that all of them should close caption, including Pastor John Carmichael, and he could do it because they video everything, and his son runs that stuff, and he is so good at it. Next time I see him, I'm going to ask him to do closed captioning for us seniors. Back to mothers. A couple of days ago, I did Proverbs 31, which tells about what a good woman does and how they take care of their household, and they can buy and sell and make money, which I've always done one way or the other. My kid said to me, Mom, you could make money selling rocks. Well, I met a lady in Florida that was selling rocks. She would get these rocks off the beach in creeks and little round ones, and she would paint something on them, paint a little picture on them, and she would sell them for $1 or $2. I never felt led to do that, but I did do paintings and sell them when I went on the evangelistic field, and I made bows. And yesterday I ran into the bows that this woman had, and all colors, and I'm going to start using them. And scarves, I got a whole bunch of scarves, because you're going to see me dressed up in my bows and scarves, because I'm still a little girl at heart. You know, men are little boys at heart also. I mean, we still have a lot of things in us that was always there, and I always did like to primp when I was little. You can find pictures of me, and I will have a bow in my hair or something. Well, this morning, let's see if I can get this to come up. I was going to show you in reverence of my mother, who was a good woman with all her children. And here we are, and I'm going to show them to you. Whoops. You know how I'm always dropping things. Excuse me. That fell right out of the container. I'm going to get it. Oh, hang on. I got to get a new case for that one. All right. Oh, I want to show you this one. Well, shucks. Where'd it go? I don't know. I want to show it to you. It was my mom and all of us. Well, let me see. Hang on. No, you can't tell about these iPads what they're going to do next. But it is a picture of my 7 brothers and my 1 sister. And it's all in this one picture on this iPad. As soon as I get my pictures again, I think I can get it. Here. I'm sure I can. So hang on. Just smile and be glad. Take you a sip of coffee. I'm going to get there. When you do these iPads, you've got pictures. Oh, I'm going to show you this. Now, this was that's our motor home we used to have. And up on the hill where we lived, and that ran real good for 10 years, and it had a Ford motor. And you know what happened? It froze up and they couldn't fix it. It would cost thousands of dollars to fix it, so he gave it to the Goodwill. But we had a lot of good times in that. Now, let me go see if I can find. I got a lot of pictures just like all y'all, and we like them. Let's see now. I got my mom and all my, I was going to do that in honor of her. She was such a good mom. You know, she had 9 children. She had 10 really, because I have a brother that passed away at 18 months that died. And then I was next. And don't you know, that's why I always had self-confidence. I always thought if somebody else could do it, I could do it. Or maybe if they couldn't do it, I could do it anyway. That's been my attitude through life. And I'm not shy. I'm not bashful. I will talk to a fence post. They don't answer too good. Well, I showed you. Let me have a cup of coffee. So, sip. I was born. After my brother passed away, then what happened was I was queen of the roost for a while because I was baby girl till my sister come along, and then she ruined everything. My daddy favored her, and that really irritated. Well, let me show you this. This is me and James when he was moving out of his office downtown. And see that Indian beside him? That's about as tall as he is, and he moves that thing everywhere. It's in our living room at the house. I can live without it, but I don't because it's there. Kiddos, that's just one of the things in life. Be anxious for nothing and don't worry about it. So I don't. Okay, now where was I? I'm going to show you if I can find it. I've got so many pictures here that are fascinating. I wish I could show them all to you, but that's not possible. So I'm still looking. Here's my beautiful Melissa. That was when she was 21. She's 40 now. She's still a beautiful girl. Let me see. Oh yeah. And this is my Appalachian mother-in-law. Now she dipped snuff, and she'd have it in her lip, and then she carried her a jar around, and that's her little Chihuahua dog. And she loved that little old dog. It was a lot of company for her. I don't know if you can see this or not, but that's me and Buddy when we was on the evangelistic field. I wore dresses and black wigs because my hair was black, so I wore black wigs back then. Let me see here. We lived up in the Floyd Knobs, which he had a house up there that you could look and see all of New Albany. But as I've said before, once you've seen it, you've seen it. And I didn't like living up there while he was at work because, you know, he's younger than me and he still worked. So I would come to town and stay in my apartment, which you know, Aldi's, Myers, Kroger. When I made my first video, oh, I want to show you this. This is that Indian up close. He's got 2 of them, one in his office and one at our house, in the living room, in the corner. My sister-in-law, Patricia, came down to visit us after we moved, and she said, see, she's a neat Nick, and she said, I'll tell you one thing, that would have to go. But it's not going anywhere. Here's where we lived out in the country. It's on a cliff. See how that's behind it? You can't quite see New Albany in this picture, but it was a big old 2-story house, 2,500 square feet. And before we moved away from there, we moved downstairs because of the stairs, and that was before I was on turmeric. I couldn't hardly make the stairs up and down, you know, and this has been Well, now it's been about 2 years ago that we moved down. Well, we moved downstairs a year or two before we moved to town. So when I went on turmeric, I don't worry about stairs anymore, getting up and down. I don't need lift chairs. Now here's an old wagon he had in his front yard, and that's snow on the ground. But I still haven't found that one I wanted to show you. Of Mom and me and all my brothers. See, I'm laughing as I go. This is James before I met him. That's what he looked like when he had that white Cadillac in front of his office down New Albany, and I was going to the library, and I saw that man, and I said, what a hippie he is. And he was. He still wears a big ponytail. But I cut his hair after we married him for a long time, and then he decided he wanted a ponytail again, so there he went. That's life. I want to tell you something about life. I had a good friend, Anna Marie Atwood, and she passed away a year or so ago. And she wanted her body to go to the doctors where they can study the body, you know, U of L medical school. So when she died, and she didn't want a funeral or anything, so when she died, they didn't even tell me. There was not even a memorial for my friend Anna Marie. But Anna Marie said this, and she said it often. Life just keeps changing. Yes, it does, till we get out of here. Life keeps changing. You don't know what's going to happen next. You just have to go with the flow, and I know that's an old saying, but I do the best I can. Going with the flow. Now, let me look again. I'm just having a good time this morning. Y'all probably aren't hanging with me, but that's life. I just laugh like when James put on that child's thing to float it in the water. That has got so many hits. That short he did and said, this is my derby hat. Little things, we do little things that are cute. And he's the one that says, you got to run that tree. He's my helper. Back to mothers, and this is Mother's Day. Most mothers, women, it don't matter whether they're a mother or not, we have this helper thing that God builds into us. And though you maybe have not been a mother or been a mother that you thought was insufficient or whatever, you're still a mother inside a lot of times. And you help people maybe not even related to you because it's the mothering instinct in you. And when I order James around sometimes, I said, I know I'm not your mother, but mother knows best. So do it the way I say. I have been a housewife for years, and besides that, I'm 8 years older than you. I know more than you do about housekeeping and stuff, because he wants to change things around sometimes, like how cool it should be in the house. We had that long discussion last night, which you might not be interested in. See, I run the heat in the house because I am so hot-natured. I gotta keep it 68 degrees at night, so I got a window unit in the bedroom. You don't want to run the whole house heat. He's got a big house over there on Slate Run Road, and you don't want to do that. So I run and then the central, I run it 69 at night so that the whole house stays warm enough when I get up in the morning, or if I get up and want to have a cup of hot chocolate. Now, if you wake up at night and you can't sleep, just fix yourself a cup of hot chocolate, and you know what? And go back to bed, and you'll sleep the rest of the night real good. It really works. And then there's another thing too I use sometimes. I think it's ginger. I don't know. Yeah, I think it is. And I just put, well, usually I use hot chocolate. So I'm going to look for this again. It is Mother's Day. This year, the 11th. This is part of James's yard up there where we live. He's always decorating. He puts statues around in our front yard. I ought to take this iPad and go around on Slate Run and just show you what all he was. I'm still waiting for him to put that porch over top in. He keeps talking about it. But you know what? Be anxious for nothing. I'm not worried about it. If it happens, it happens. And if he don't put a screen around it, I can't sit out there anyway. When the mosquitoes come, because they eat me up, they'll come for miles to find me. And that is the truth. Let me see here. I'm still looking. I'm just having fun today. I hope y'all are. But that Senior Insights woman, she went on YouTube not too long ago, and she started, and all of a sudden she had viral. And I mean, she got thousands, hundreds of subscribers just like overnight. She really was a hit, and she's a cute little woman. I haven't watched her that much because I just found out about her. But she said her subscribers was going down. You never know what's going to happen. They go up and down. Mine's went back to 70,000. And Tom, one of my favorite commenters, said, congratulations. Honey, it ain't me. It's the Lord. I don't understand it. To me, it's amazing. I don't understand it. I'm just who I am and transparent. And my mother said, Clarine, my name is Clarine, Lois Clarine Baird-Rice Blair. Like the Queen of England, I got several names. I don't know if Camilla does or not, but the mother queen that was there for years, she had long names. So, let me see. I'm looking now.
No speakable content could be found on the screen.
I'm looking. Hang on, Sloopy. That's what I say. I have took so many pictures. It was so beautiful up in the fall, up on the hill where we lived. It was beautiful. In the fall and in the spring, when the flowers came out in the trees. Oh, let me show you this. Now, this happened about 5 years ago. This is my brother Denny, and he found that many morel mushrooms. I haven't seen that many since, but he shared with me, and I love morel mushrooms. Thank you, Denny. That's my brother Dennis, which he is married to Patricia. Now I'm still looking for my mother and all of us kids. I've also got pictures. Here's a picture of Buddy that from one of his albums that I did. But there they are. I saw them. No, that's us. That's not it. Hang on, Sloopy. Here it is that I wanted to show you. Joy Comes in the Morning was the name of that album. And see the flowers? Well, what I did was, I was the photographer. I used to do photography. And I went down to Avasol Florist, and I said, can we make a photo here that we want to put on the front of an album? And they said yes. And on that bouquet hanging there, there was a price tag, but you can almost see it. But that was a beautiful album. I did the fronts of his albums, and he cut several. Here's another one I did, front of his album, and the name of this one was, Oh, What a Savior. Now, we was driving down the road, and I saw this stump and all these bushes, and I said, honey, get out there and just let me get a picture of you, and we'll put that on your album if it turns out good. And that's what we did. Isn't that pretty? Now, here I am trying to look good on YouTube. And I did that one yesterday for 8 minutes. And I have a bad side, and I saw it several times. I look a lot better looking forward. I know that for a fact. And this necklace I found this morning that I had bought and forgot about. That happens when you get a little older. It happens when you're younger. I remember one time, and this was back when we was on the evangelistic field, and I had this little apartment here, and it had carpeting in it and everything. And I remember when I left that I needed a vacuum cleaner, but I forgot I bought one and put it in the closet. It just slipped my mind. I said, well, it'll be there. So when we came home, oh, look at this. Look at this. This is James's blue horse. Now, it's almost life-size, and he's got it on a deck on his office, and he just loves it. And people want to buy it, but he won't sell it because he enjoys it so much. Here's another picture of it. See how it shines in the sun? He put it on the ground, and somebody came and sprayed it with black paint, So he had to put it up on the second story of the place of the office, and it's there right now. And he had to put it up there because they sprayed it where they couldn't get to it. And this is the pick azaleas that grew up on Old Hill Road where we lived, that his first wife painted, or not painted, planted, and they bloomed every year. I love azaleas. They're so gorgeous. I guess oh, I tell you what, we have doves here, and I love doves, and I see some on top of my car. Well, there's one. Here it is. I found it. I found it. Now, I don't see my mom. My mom's not. Oh, she's there, up there. See where my brother Denny is? That's my brother David leaning forward. And that's my mom by the one doing the finger thing, you know, giving him horns. And that's my sister Phyllis down in the down in the corner there. And of course I'm the one black-headed. That's my brother Aubrey in the checkered shirt. And Michael, there they are. Denny. I don't believe Norman's there. I don't see him anywhere. But that's us. And I'm the oldest. Mom was such a good mother. She didn't go to town to shop. She was very backward after we moved to the farm, and she did not travel much with, like, to go grocery shopping. She just gave Daddy a list because she canned everything that we ate. Mainly, I mean, green beans, and she even canned sausages and meat sometimes. And we cooked soup, beans, and cornbread often. And Daddy would put pickles down in crocks. And I just loved soup, beans, and those briny pickles. And that's what they call them. You put these little cucumbers down with a lot of salt and let them set a long time. I don't know how to do it. But Daddy did it. And you can't really buy them like that anymore. My sister Phyllis moved to town, and but she bought a house. She bought an acre of ground out in the country. Let me tell you this. Her and Stanley, her husband, decided they wanted to live in the country. Well, now I never did want to live in the country, but she persuaded me, and she was a persuader at Georgetown, Indiana, to buy an acre of ground adjoining her acre of ground. So I did. And the more I thought about it, the more I don't want to live in the country. But they went ahead and built a house out there. One of those houses that you put the foundation in and then they come and do the rest of the house. And it turned out real nice, a 3-bedroom house with a garage. It was very nice. John Walker's or something like that. It was a prefab home. And you have to do the foundation. And when he did the foundation, he didn't have it quite square. So he had to redo it because Stanley did it himself. So anyhow, I had this lovely acre of ground next door to her, and I thought, well, our kids can grow up together and that'll be nice because they loved one another. And then Tommy, my brother that passed away recently, worked at Pillsbury and knew a woman that wanted to downsize, and I was living in a little 2-bedroom house with a little back porch where I could have a washer and dryer, which was wonderful. I bought my washer and dryer at Sears and Roebuck and paid so much a month. You could do it back then. That was back in, heavens, 1961 or 2, that time period, because I moved here in 1963. So anyhow, Tommy said this woman, Clara Bowman, wants to downsize. She's dead and gone, honey. So many of them are dead and gone. I hope she's in heaven. But she was a sweet lady, and she said, yes, I want a smaller place. I just got a divorce, and I don't want no 3-bedroom brick anymore. So we figured out a way to trade. And the way we did it, now my house, I still owed a little bit on, but not much. And so I said, well, I want, $65 for mine. Well, when we went to the bank said, that's not enough. You can't trade. You know what I did? I went home and I thought it over, and I said, well, really, I'm going to change that to $7,500. My house is worth $7,500. You know, I made it up as I went along. I call that the guiding of the Holy Spirit because you know I've been a Christian for years. So we went back to the bank and we reapplied, and they said, "Oh yeah, this'll work." And so she moved in my house, I moved into hers, and my payments was raised. Instead of what little payments I was paying on Silver Street was raised to like $20 more a month, which was not in my budget. So what am I going to do? Well, you're going to babysit. So I quickly ran me an ad, which anybody could babysit here in New Albany at that time. So I ran me an ad, and the next thing you knew, I had 2 or 3 little kids to take care of, and I certainly made enough money to make the mortgage. And of course, now my home's been paid for years. And when we went on the evangelistic field, we built us an apartment in the rear, and there we had a place to be when we was home. Because I had also researched that most evangelists need a place to chill instead of living in their motor home or their uh, trailer or whatever. Some have pull behinds. We had a fifth wheel because I read and studied that a fifth wheel is nice because then the church don't have to put you up. You can be independent because you can do your own cooking. You have a bathroom. It's wonderful. And you have a bedroom and a living room and 2 comfortable chairs. You've got to have a comfortable chair. I don't care where you are. We don't even have couches anymore in our living rooms. James and I, we have a couple of chairs on one side, a couple of chairs on the other side, and the big TV up on the wall. I've been aiming to cut a video there with his big old TV. He has a TV as big as this wall at my house, and I could sit in the middle of that and talk to y'all, dry my throat out once in a while with a little coffee. Well, my time is up. It's time to listen to Dr. John Carmichael. He got his doctorate. I mean, he's past 40, he's 50 now, I think. And a couple of years ago, he studied and did all that he needed to do to get his doctorate, and he got his I mean, that is, congratulations, John Carmichael. Of course, I just call him John or Pastor, respect. I might be 90, but he's just a kid to me. And when we first moved here, and he was not the first pastor they had at the church when I changed churches. They had another guy, and he went to a bigger church over at Evangel Tabernacle, where I used to go, because Evangel Tabernacle has these outreach churches, and where James and I go, it's Evangel North, and it's an outreach of that church that Pastor Rogers wanted to have years ago, and I think there's about 6 of them now in different cities and different towns, and they have pastors and they have congregations and they're spreading the word. I never knew I would be telling about Jesus on YouTube and spreading the word of Jesus and how good he is and how to get saved. You know how easy it is, children. Jesus hears you anywhere. You can talk to him. He's knocking on your doors, on the heart. You're empty until you know the Lord, and that's a fact. So you just pray that prayer, dear Lord Jesus, forgive me of my sins. Come into my heart, be the Lord of my life. I want to serve you. I want to live for you. I want to go to heaven, and I believe you died for me. And he hears you. And you can get saved anywhere. You can accept Jesus Christ wherever you're at. So, and then it's a good thing to do to find you a church that you like. Churches to find that you like is sometimes hard, and that is true. But there's some good churches out there. So what you do is, my advice is, stream some of them, because everybody streams. Some of them are on Facebook, but even the smallest little church can stream. And so you look at them and listen to the preaching, and you feel their spirit, and you go join them. You'll love it, because it's like a family. When you join, you don't have to join and say, I want to be a member, but most of them, you're welcome to be a member. That's what they want. And just join the family of God. It's easy. And it's easier now than it used to be, because back when I was younger, we had people leaving, maybe that didn't like our church, and it happens. And you'd see them later, and they would say it like this to me. Well, I went to that church, and I didn't like it. The people were this, that, or the other. Then I went, but now we have found a church we just love. We just fit in. See, we're all different, and we don't fit in. Don't seem like all the time everywhere, but we fit in good where we go, and we like it. But I stream. But James, when I go to their dinners and their special events, I fit in good, and they're very friendly and very loving. So you might try Evangel North Church if you live in this area. It's on Thames Drive in Clarksville, Indiana. Very easy to find. Evangel North Church. Go try it out. I am running into people in this area that said, "Are you Grandma Lois? I know you. I knew you as soon as I saw you." And that happens. And somebody said this morning, we went to the Y. I gotta hurry. He'll be preaching in a minute. Of course, I can catch it. I said, I'm on YouTube. They said they were from out of town, and they were checking in at the Y, and it was a mother and a father and a daughter and a son, and she looked like she was about maybe 12, and maybe he was 14, the kids, and they said that the daughter was here in New Albany for a archery event competition, shooting a bow and arrow, and she's here all the way from Iowa. I gotta tell you this, I went to Iowa one time. Buddy and I went to hold a revival out in Iowa, and it was November, and it was so cold out there, and the wind was blowing, and the revival went a second week, and we didn't take our fifth wheel, and we had to stay in a motel, which I hated because it was so far away. We just went, and it was wintertime. We just drove our car and stayed in a motel. Hated it, hated it. The church was lovely, but let me tell you what was redeeming about the whole thing. The revival was great, the people responded, and the food was fabulous in Iowa. I tell you, they kept taking us out to restaurants. See, they would go out and eat with us for a meal every day. And that food in Iowa, that Greek food, and that there's so much good food. And that's the way with Louisiana, the food. I tell you what, now I think I remember most about the food than I do anything. And I still like food. James asked me where I wanted to go today to eat. And we have a place called the Overlook, and it'll be crowded. And then he said, well, we can go up Madison to the lodge. And he says, would you? I said, I don't want to drive a long ways. Let's just hang around the house and let me do my video and treat my feet. You go to church and we'll find us a good place. He's got me on a different schedule now. He's working on that house in Salem. I know a lot of you are not watching this all the way through, but it's interesting to me. He's not Salem, Sellersburg. It's up towards Salem. It's out, way out. Well, it's 10 minutes, not too far. I'm going out again next week. He's going to start working on the inside. But he don't come home to eat till 2 o'clock. So I just eat me a breakfast and maybe nibble a little something to last me till 2 o'clock. And then we just have like supper. I mean, it's a lunch supper at 2 o'clock, and then we don't hardly eat anything before we go to bed. So I told him, I said, he wanted to take me up to the Overlook down on the river, which is a lovely restaurant, or up to Madison to the lodge, which you'd have to make a reservation, which I could have done. And I said, honey, let's just hang here, or I can have a nap and you can have a nap. I said, I think I got old on you. I just don't care about traveling for an hour, and that's what it would take to go to the lodge up there at the park, state park, where he wanted to go. So we'll go to Mark's Feed Store, which has the best brisket. And we go there every once in a while, and he wanted to treat me for Mother's Day, and I treat him for Father's Day. So that's what we're going to do much later. So I got to shut up and talk to y'all later. Look how long I'm talking. I guess I don't know what's going on, kiddos. God is good all the time. And I tell you what, I had a scripture, and I don't think I shared it yet. And it was, what did I do with that? I got it right here. It says, each of you should do whatever gift ever. This is the upper room, and it says Psalms 121:8, and I was reading this earlier. It has stories to go with it. I picked this up down at the Methodist store because they put them out for people, and I really enjoy them. And it says, each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful rewards of God's grace in its various forms. You know, we all can help somebody in various forms, or we can do something. We all have gifts. God makes us all different, and we can all do what we can do and love one another. So this is a good psalm, and I had it earlier, and then I get distracted. That's life. We just do the best we can with what we got. That's all I know. Love you. Walk that path where Jesus would be pleased with you. Come and go along with me. Bye-bye.